Hi, this is JilliBling, JilliBling.com, and I thought today would be a great day to do a card using the new set Celebrate Sunflowers. And this is the card I like to make, but I also made one in navy, and I found it on Pinterest, and I'm looking really quick. I should have been better prepared because I cased this card, and it is from, it was posted by Karen Prosser, Prosser, and it's a really nice design. So I thought I'd do it just like Karen did it in the warmer colors, but then for some reason I have a obsession with blue flowers, and I did it in blue tones, and I love that too. So this is a card that we'll be doing in class this month, and you'll have your choice of doing it either of the tones, but today I thought that we'd focus on this one in the warmer colors. Do you notice the embossing folders? These are new embossing folders, and today I'll be using this one. But this is the one that Karen did, and I think it's called Greenery, and it's a two set embossing folder little packet. And I'll pull that out here in just a minute. And then you'll have your choice of what label you want for your greeting. On this, I punched out the detail, so you just see pretty much the veins of the leaf. And this one I left them in. When I cut them, I knew that I had to punch them out, but looking at them still in, I really like that. Do a little bit of sponging and stamp the words, and then I used markers to color it in. So this is the stamp set I used primarily for the blue one, and there's dies that go with all this, and I'll show you the dies in just a minute. This is a new stamp set, Many Mates, and I used the birthday, and then on the inside, birthday, that's from here, that's from this set. And then I also wanted some sunflowers for the inside, but I didn't want them very big. So look how pretty that turned out. And that's just dragging the color in with a blender pen. So I stamped it in navy and then used the blender pen to pull the color onto the leaves. And then to color these, I wanted to mimic this color, which is sand. Here's a sand marker, Stampin' Write marker. So I just color them directly with the marker for this one. Okay, so let's get started on this card right here. So these are the products I used to make the card. For this one I used this punch. It's called Label Me Fancy. For the blue one, I use this punch, which is Timeless Label for here. Either one is good. And here's the two embossing folders. And it's called Greenery. And you could kind of see them on here, but I think that once I do the embossing, you could see them a lot better on the foil paper. And the blue one, it's a repetitive pattern, really nice. Kind of looks like leaves. I love them. And I embossed over both the navy and the foil paper. And the same with this one. I embossed over the copper and then also the espresso paper. Okay, so let's see. This one, we'll be using that one. This is to stamp the words on. You know what, as I go through each of these papers, I might as well do it. So, it's your day, stamped in early espresso. Okay, and then I'll use the punch to punch it out. Just like that. And then, so, see how they look a little bit different? The finished one, I'm going to take my crushed curry marker and color it in, and then I'll do some sponging. So this is my curry sponge. It probably has enough ink on it. When the ink is not super wet, it Yeah, this is a little bit dark. See how it's a lot softer? Okay, so do the sponging. Then take the curry marker. This means wide paintbrush end, and that means narrow tip. I like this one. So I will color this in with the marker, and it doesn't have to be exact. And when you're coloring with a marker, at first it looks a little splotchy, but as it dries it smooths out. So I'll do it. I'll come over here and do a second layer, getting in all the little not colored spots. What's nice about this card is there's not much coloring like the last one. The no line, there's a lot of coloring. Turned out nice. Okay, and then I would continue and color It's Your. I have one that's already done and sponged right here. So I'll use that one. Okay, let's see what's next. This is one of the dies that come with the sunflowers. So I will cut out 2 leaves. Those are right here. Pieces are happening. This paper is for right here. And I purposely made it a little bit long. Well, you know, let me show you what's going on here, just so you don't make this mistake. So you fold your paper in half. Where's my bone folder? And I originally planned to put this right here, but when you go to use your embossing folder, I'm not going to put it there, otherwise I'd attach it. And with your embossing folders, if you always have logo side up, that means that the item, for instance the leaves, they'll be popped up. If you have it this way, the leaves will be indented. So I want them popped up. But when I put it on here, and I went to run it through the Big Shot, it wouldn't go through this way, which means I have to close this flap. And it was hard to put it through this direction just because there's so many layers. Therefore, I cut an extra piece of espresso paper. And when you look on here, see this little extra layer? And that made it go through a lot better. So, on with that plan. Okay, so this one, I'm going to attach it to the espresso paper and then run it through. You know, my adhesive doesn't want to stick to the back of this foil. Some of them did. I think once it's embossed, it will confirm the stickiness. And I know that I'm going to have to trim off a little bit right here. That's fine. I'll do that in a minute. Okay, so this is on. Now, logo side up. And then when you put it on here, think about what image do you want, how much leaves do you want down here, because you can adjust it a little bit. If you have it way up at the top, this down here will be shorter. I'll put it right in the middle. And I know it's going to cut off here, so I'll put my sunflower and leaves over there. Okay, so I'm going to run this through. And here it is. Isn't that pretty? Then I'm going to trim off this little extra. Just like that. And then I'll stick this flat down on the front of the card. That will go right here. Okay. So yeah, some leaves are going up, some are going down. I was thinking maybe I could do it this way, but it just, to me, it doesn't look so good. Okay, this is already done. So I'll use dimensionals to attach that. Right down here. And what's nice is this label is going to cover up the edge to the texture. That needs covering up, but the sunflower will do that. Okay, right about there. That looks good. So, onto the flower. This is inside paper. Onto the flower, we have our leaves. And those are still intact. I could punch them out, but I really like how this one came out. I have a piece of paper for this die, and this die will cut out the border, just this little edge along here. It's so dainty. I love it. Okay, so I'll cut that out. And that's here. Isn't that pretty? I need to punch some of these out. Just a few of them. There's some large, medium, and small, almost non-existent little punch outs. Looks like a party. Okay, so there's half of the sunflower. The other half, this is saffron paper, and I'll cut that out right here. And these are going to layer, but to get it to glow like that, I'm going to use a sponge and the curry ink. So, get it inked up, and when you start in the middle, because it's heavy with ink, it's going to be a little bit freckled, but as the ink goes onto the paper and there's less ink on the sponge, it will get softer and softer, so that isn't so good. But if you keep going, see how it's getting softer and softer? And that center part is going to be covered up. I really like how this one came out. The blue and sand one, that came out interesting and good. Let me find that. Good too, but it isn't quite as glowing and vibrant as this one is. But I don't know that those would work together. I don't think that the saffron and curry works on these cool tones. Okay, so to attach this, I'm going to put glue all along the edge, and then just a ring on the center. But for lining them up, do you see this little part in the petals? And it's distinctive compared to the rest of the petals. It's kind of easy to find right on here, this little part. Okay, so for glue, and whatever glue you have is fine. I'm just going to put it on the edge. I could put it on the whole thing, but it's not really necessary. I'll put some in the middle. So next week, I'm going to start having class again. I've missed it so much. We're going to do the class at Mama's house. And I just talked with Hobby Lobby, and they gave me a call and they said, "Are you coming back? We miss you. Come and do classes." And I said in July we'll start again on the same dates that were already reserved. And they mentioned that there's a maximum of 8 students per class, which is fine because the 2 tables held only 8, but there's one stipulation, and that is only 2 people per table. but I know that they have 4 tables in there. So, okay, 2 people per table, and then we'll put the big shot on the end of one table, other supplies on another table. We'll make it work. Okay, so I went all around the outside edge, and now I'm going to do just a ring random just to hold it on the inside. And that won't be seen. Okay, so when I flip this over, let me look for that one identifier, which is right here. And I'll set it down. It's probably an easier way to do this, other than my finger being right in the donut hole. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Okay, that was looking pretty good. So stick it down. And I got glue on the outside edges, but it'll dry clear, so I think it'll be just fine. It's getting stuck together. And then I'll give this just a minute to dry and I'll work on the inside of the card. Let me make sure it's all stuck together. Okay, so I'm going to set this off to the side for just a minute. And the inside of this card, oh, nice. It's all stamped in espresso, and espresso is not a permanent ink. So when you go to color the happy birthday and the flower, if you hit the espresso line where the petals are, it will drag some of the ink into your yellow. So you just, if you're aware of that and if you're careful, it's no problem. Okay, so happy birthday. Just like that. And sunflower right there. Okay, done with the ink. And I'm going to let that dry just a bit. But see how this one has sponging around the outside edges? I don't want to hit that because I know that it's still maybe a little wet. Okay, just a hint of sponging. And now to do the coloring. So with the flowers, the flower, I start in the middle and just color the center of each petal with the curry, which is the darker of the two colors. I'm going to do just a part of this because I don't want you to have to wait too long. Go all the way around. And then this one is saffron, so it's a lighter. And I'm purposely not trying to color in 100% of it. If I leave some white areas, like down in here, that's okay. And if I kept going over these petals, I would kind of smudge the espresso, and I don't want to do that. So this is crumb cake marker, and I'm going to do this here in the center. When you're in class, this one, I colored it out here, sand. Sand, this is sand. Crumb cake is a little bit different in color and in tone. So if you can, remember to get crumb cake marker, and the whole center gets colored in. And again, if I go over any area too long, I'll lose the crispness of the stamped image, and I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to worry about getting every little spot. I'm just applying color. And when it dries, it smooths out the color. Because right now it's a little bit splotchy, but it'll get smoothed out. And even if it doesn't, Mother Nature doesn't. And this one is Pear Pizzazz. and just a hint of color for the leaves. And when you're coloring, if you happen to pick up some of the espresso on the tip of the marker, just kind of push it off to the side to clear it out, because we want the leaf to be green rather than muddy brown green. And once again, if I leave white areas, I'm good with that. Okay, so continue coloring the rest of the flower. And it'll look like this. Okay, so that could be attached to the inside of the card. Just like that. Looks good. Okay, so this should be plenty dry. And deciding where to put it, there's a bit of a gap here, but I really don't care for that complete naked, no texture, nothing. So if I put this here and these little leaves up over here, I think it will cover up that no texture, no color. Uh-oh, I see a little dot in here. Can't have that. Wouldn't be able to sleep at night with that. There it is. Okay, so, oh, and then the flower center is this little die, and it puts a whole bunch of little dots. I'll cut that out. Here it is. That goes on here. So I'll get a dimensional. Put it right there. That one goes right about there. And this gets put on with dimensionals. And I'm purposely putting them more toward the center because I want to tuck the leaves in underneath. And I don't want them running into the side of a dimensional. Which side is up and which side is down? I'm going to put the, you know, if you part your hair, I'm going to put the part right about, where did I put this one? I put it right in this middle. It turned out good. So there it is, middle. And now these leaves, because I'm trying to keep these little pieces in, at this point it's all good. This one looks like it's trying to jump out of there, but with the dimensionals I'm going to hold it in place. And a thing to beware of, when I put this down and I pull my finger off, when I was doing this one, I pulled some of the pieces out, and just if you're aware to make sure it all stays right there in place, it's good. See how this one's starting to come up? I'm going to try to bridge the dimensional between this vein and that vein just to hold that one in place. Ooh, that one's coming up too. Okay, so this one is ready. How about right there? I like it. So if you can make it to Mama's house this upcoming week, let me know. There will be class on Tuesday, usually on Thursday, but this time not Thursday. So Tuesday, Friday, Saturday or Sunday, and we can make these cards and get together once again. It's been so long, and I have the dates already listed on my blog. And we'll be having garage sale. Aren't those pretty? Aren't they happy? It's kind of fall-like, but I love it. Wow. Okay. So, thanks for tuning in. If you can, hit the like button. There's 2 people who consistently look at the videos right away, and they always hit the like button. Tell me who you are, because I want to say thank you. I'm not sure who it is, but thank you. And I hope to see you next week at Mama's house. Okay, bye.